Hello and welcome, friends. I hope everybody's had a great day so far. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're back, welcome back. I greatly appreciate all the ongoing support. This is my channel, Dragons Joe Creative Gems, and I'm Tegan. And I'm just going to get all that wonderful YouTubey stuff out of the way first. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please consider doing so. It's just down below. If you like the content that you see, don't forget to give it a like. And of course, any love, comments, suggestions, all those wonderful things, there's a comment section down there as well. Today we are doing something a little bit different, but not really. I've done it once before, but I got tagged to do some diamond painting questions, so I'm going to do it in the form of a good old WIP Chat here. So I've pulled out my Day of the Dead diamond painting here from Art Dot that I've been started on. And so I'm going to work on a section of this and answer those questions. And how that works is basically I got tagged by Arietta from the Crafty Witch UK. She had to answer all of these questions as well, so if you haven't seen her video, definitely go and check it out. It's a great way to get to kind of know content creators and kind of some of their diamond painting habits and stuff like that, and kind of their background, origin story of how they got into it, all that wonderful things. So it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to get my first color going here. And I apologize if you hear the dog walking around, the kids at school, and of course I've got my craft room door open so that I can kind of keep an eye on them. All that good stuff. So they'll be coming back and forth, bugging me, probably checking things out, wondering what's going on. Why aren't I out in the living room? That sort of thing. And see, there we go. One of them's coming to peek. Hello, babies. Yeah, what's up? And now she's going back down the hallway. They like to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, that sort of thing, so yeah. Alright, I just get my color ready here. And then I will focus on the question. I know, life is real hard. Ace, I would like to try to film a video. Play with your monster, please, buddy. Oh, enough with the whining. You're fibbing now. Alright, so I'm going to start answering the questions here. There's I think 25 questions. Yeah, so there's 25 questions in a total. So we'll start with the first one, which is how many diamond paintings have I completed? I have completed to date 23 diamond paintings. I know that's not a crazy huge number or anything, but yeah, some of them have been very large diamond paintings, as I tend to work a lot on Diamond Art Club ones. So quite a few of those have been Diamond Art Club ones that have been larger in size. And Ace, buddy, hold on. Alright, let's try this again. Ace is being a bit whiny. I don't know why, because all he's doing is staring down the hallway after Janaya. Stay tuned, of course, for Friday's WIP Chat, and I'll tell you all about Ace. And yeah, all that good stuff. Anyways, so I've completed 23 diamond paintings, and quite a few of them have been larger Diamond Art Club, so that's why it's not super crazy high or anything. Yeah, so question number 2. How many paintings are in your stash? Now, this one was fun. I mean, I've always just kind of guesstimated prior to how many diamond paintings I actually had in my stash, but I figured for this one, I'd do a little bit of research, count them out, see what I got, and now Ace wants out, so I guess I'll be right back. Okay, he's outside. Oh my goodness. Count on him to start doing all of this right when I go to try to film things. Oh, okay, where was I? How many diamond paintings are in my stash? So this was fun. I've always just kind of guesstimated by just doing a quick glance. But I figured for the sake of this video, I would actually take the time to count it out. So the official count as it stands, obviously I've already changed that count just maybe a wee bit, because I forgot to include, well, technically I don't have it yet, but it is on the way. I do have a Diamond Art Club order coming. But yeah, it's not here yet, so I mean, that number obviously will change. But currently I am at 97 premium canvases. So by that, premium are your more expensive diamond paintings. They're usually licensed artists. So those are companies like Dreamer Designs, Orlola, Diamond Art Club, L'Essentiel de P, Make Market, which is Michael's brand. I included all of those in that kind of premium category. So I've got 97 of those. I have 8 mini canvas sets, and if you're wondering what that is, that's just my Paint Gem minis, and also Diamond Art Club has recently come out with mini canvases. So between the two, I have 8 sets of those. And then for low budget companies, those are the ones that some people say they aren't licensed, they're questionable art, but really a lot of these companies are based out of China. Their licensing rules and stuff like that are vastly different than ours. So, well, yes, some of it is similar paintings, diamond paintings as other companies. Same thing kind of with the Amazon diamond paintings. A lot of them come from kind of those low budget companies. I'm including all those together. But I've got 61 of those. And then I have a little kind of cube type storage container that's fabric. That's about an 11 inch by 11 inch, and that is filled with off-canvas projects. So that's things like keychains, stickers, coasters, you name it. Those kind of one-off, those like my tabletop decor that I showed you, that would be considered in that bin. Those are just kind of special drills type projects usually. So I've got a little 11 by 11 bin full of those. I didn't bother counting how many are in there. But yeah, so if you kind of add that up, that's, well, over 100, about 150, 160-ish canvases. So not nearly as bad as I thought I would be. Because when I look at it, it seems like it takes up quite a bit of space. But given I'm in a little small craft room, that amount is actually quite large. It's a good size stash for sure. Gives me lots of good variety between kind of smaller low budget ones, larger premium companies, special drill projects, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's my stash. Number 3 is, what is your diamond painting origin story? And that basically just means, how did I get into diamond painting? And that started back, it was probably during late COVID, I would say. And as that kind of ended and everything was being, oh no, I don't know, maybe it wasn't late COVID, but it was definitely during kind of the COVID period. I had received a gift card to Michael's, and I had a online friend that I chatted to quite frequently who was raving about diamond painting and how much she had loved it. She had just kind of gotten into it and had completely become obsessed with it. And that, through my conversations with her, that just reminded me, I had heard of diamond painting before, I'd seen it, but I'd never gotten into it. So basically from there, it kind of reminded me that, hey, this was something that you were interested in a while ago. You haven't tried it. I had received a gift card to Michael's and I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use it on. So I went and I decided I was going to pick up a kit. At the time, my local Michael's was selling diamond dots kits. So I picked up kind of a small one. I had known nothing about full or partial kits at the time. And so I had ended up picking up like a little partial kit. And I got into it and I really started enjoying it. And I was like, oh, well, it's not a... It's, you know, it's like it went by fairly quickly because it was only a partial. And so I just didn't fully feel satisfied and I would know I was enjoying it. And so as I was kind of finishing that up, I went back and I bought another diamond dots kit. And that's when I got a full canvas that time. So getting that full canvas satisfied my first initial diamond painting session a little bit better. That's for sure. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it, was that she reminded me, I had the card, I went and I started with the diamond dots. And from there I got hooked. And then next thing I know, she was telling me about Diamond Art Club and a couple of low budget companies as well. And I had come across a couple of diamond painting YouTubers and I really started kind of just getting into it at that point. Getting into the community, getting into the events, getting into the different companies, just kind of really trying it out. Okay, I am back again. I'm pretty sure this is I'm getting on to question 4 and I'm pretty sure I've stopped and started this video just almost as many times as there are questions so far. So that was pretty much my origin story. That's how I kind of got into it. Because I had been reminded I'd used this gift card towards it and got completely hooked. And that's when the stash started as well. So question 4. What is my favorite diamond painting company to purchase from? Well, if you look at my stash, it's probably most definitely Diamond Art Club. And in all honesty, that has nothing to do with pricing. I wish it was far more affordable. What it is with Diamond Art Club for me is the quality obviously is there. The artists that they do have signed, the artwork is amazing and I fall in love with the art. They have a lot of really beautiful art that I'm attracted to and drawn to, so I buy a lot of Diamond Art Club. So that's probably my favorite DP company to buy from. If I had to choose, say they didn't exist and I had to choose one separately from that, I would probably go with a low budget company, which would have been either JBFKE or FG Normal, and that's just because they have a large, or even Gudfell. Gudfell is another really good one. I loved all their extra off-canvas projects that they had. They had quite a huge variety in that area compared to some of the other low-budget companies. But yeah, it would probably be one of those for low-budget companies, and that's because the variety. The variety of the art, the variety that they carry, and Ace, you really need to stop your whining, baby. Chew on a toy. I apologize. This is getting extremely difficult to try to film with these two right now. Well, mostly Ace. And that's because he's still a puppy. But yeah, like I said, you'll learn more about him. Let's see here. Where was I? Yeah, favorite DP companies, low budget. I would probably have to go with those ones. Like I said, variety. I like my variety. I like having options. I like being able to choose. I don't like it being kind of slim pickings and choosing kind of the best out of those slim pickings. So yeah. Moving on, what is my go-to media or entertainment whilst diamond painting? I tend to watch quite a bit of Netflix, just watching movies, TV series, shows. I listen to a ton of true crime as well while I'm diamond painting. So I would say that's probably my go-to. Occasionally, if I'm in the mood and I find the right one, I will do a podcast or audiobook. Usually an audiobook from the library because I don't have any actual like paid subscription services or anything, so I tend to like to keep that kind of thing affordable. And then at the odd time, if I'm in the mood, I will also listen to some music. But for the most part, I'm usually watching Prime or Netflix or something, watching a TV show or movie, or listening to some true crime. Number 6, my favorite diamond painting, or my favorite category to diamond paint. For me, that would probably be the fantasy category. That's both mythological kind of creatures and animals to the various different characters within the fantasy category. So kind of your, although that's, I even really enjoy a lot of the fantasy landscapes. So yeah, probably very fantasy based would kind of be my favorite, most drawn to category. I definitely diamond paint all sorts of categories, but that's probably my favorite category for sure. Number 7, which artist have I completed the most canvases from? Well, this is probably no surprise to anybody who has watched my channel for any length of time, but the most canvases that from an artist I've completed has been from Ivy Dollamore. And why do I say that? That's because she happens to be also one of my favorite artists. So I'm drawn to a ton of her diamond paintings. And of course, with that being said, question number 8 is, which artist do you own the most canvases from? And you'll never guess, Ivy Dollamore. That's right. A part of me knew that was probably going to be the answer. And I did verify. I did look through my stash and actually make sure that was true, and it is. While I do love Christopher Lavelle, I also have a ton of other various artists in my stash, as you know from unboxings. But Ivy Dollamore is probably definitely the dominant one in my stash in a lot of ways. Yeah. Let's see. So, and then number 9 is, what do you like to use in your DP pen? So I use glue dots in my single placer. And so what I use for glue dots is, I've got these from my scrapbook stash. They're the small petite Zots. Or you can get the glue dot brand in micro or mini or whatever they're called as well. I do have some of those as backup for when I run out of those small ones. So yeah, I use glue dots in my single placer, and in my multi placers I use a putty. And I have putty from various small shops that I love, different scents, but that is my preferred go-to in my diamond painting pens. Alrighty, so number 10, what do I do with my finished diamond paintings? So I have a couple of large ones that I have finished, and I'm planning on hanging them. I know I've said this for a while. I even have the curtain rods and the hooks to hang some of them. Have I gotten around to actually hanging them aside from a tack clothing hanger with some clothing pins? Not yet. Not yet, but I do plan. It's in my to-do list. There are 2 of them that I want to hang in that way, and then I have some that I've painted up the border, some that I still have to paint the border on, and then I'll probably just tack those ones the way they are, because even buying just the curtain rods and the curtain hooks can add up in cost unless you're kind of switching out your canvases. So I'm trying to keep it as affordable as I can, but still looking somewhat nice. So that's kind of the option that I've found. So a few of them I will be hanging, and those will kind of be like my absolute favorite ones that I really love, or I want to look at it on a regular basis, have out, and kind of showcase the Diamond Art Club. No, not Diamond Art Club, the Diamond Art. Some of them are Diamond Art Club, that's probably why I said that. But yeah, definitely showcase them. It gives me a chance to kind of say, yeah, I do this in my time. This is what it's about. This is what the results are. That kind of thing. With the ones that I don't hang, I have my large ones right now. I've just kind of got them down in the basement on a table, laying kind of flat. I do eventually want to buy one of those big A1 extra large art portfolios and put them in there to kind of keep them protected a bit more and all of that. But the cost of that is up there, so I haven't done that just yet, but that is the future plan, to eventually get at least one of those to do that. My smaller ones, I have, I believe it might be an Art Dot portfolio, but my smaller ones that range from like the 30 by 30 all the way to my 40 by 50 centimeter canvases fit in that. So those ones get stored in that and then just kind of kept flat and wherever they need to be. So yeah, that's currently how I store my diamond paintings. Number 11, do I open the kits as soon as I get them? That's kind of a yes and no answer. As soon as I get them, as soon as they come in the house through the door, no. I don't open them right away. I might open the box just to verify that the kit in the box is correct and that I've received what I've ordered in that sense. But that's about as far as I go when I kind of first get them. Eventually, yes, they do all get opened before I work on them, and that's because I am a content creator and I do the unboxing videos for you. So in order to do that, I do open up the kits and show you the contents in the kits. So that's where I say it's kind of a yes, no, depending how you want to look at that. If you're going from the strict point of when they come in the door since you ordered them opening, or before you work on them opening. And then number 12 is, what is your unicorn kit? And for those of you that are maybe newer to diamond painting, have heard the term, don't know what it means, unicorn kit is usually just a way to describe, or the term that is often used when a kit has been discontinued, it's no longer carried in stock within whichever diamond painting company has produced it, but it's still one that you want to get your hands on. It's a harder to find kit because usually you have to go in search of it, and that means kind of searching out de-stash groups and sometimes even websites like eBay and stuff like that, where people are selling their kit because they don't have time to do it or they no longer want to work on it. Whatever the case is, it takes a little bit of hunting, if not a lot of hunting, to essentially get that kit. Because, yeah, they've stopped producing it, they've stopped selling it, and you've got to find somebody who's willing to let it go at that point. So that's all a unicorn kit means. For me, I've had a fairly large Diamond Art Club wish list, because there was a period where I just couldn't afford to buy, and they kept coming out with all these kits that I really, really, really wanted. They've since been archived, and recently, probably about a month or so ago, 2 months ago now, I went through my wish list and figured out which ones had actually gotten archived. And for Diamond Art Club, that's the ones that they've discontinued, gotten rid of, so they put them in the archive section. Because that way you can still kind of, if you have the kit, you can still see all the information. It's just not one that they sell anymore. So I recently discovered a whole slew of those. I did not take them off my wish list until I went and I found pictures and I saved the pictures, and I determined from there which ones I was still really interested in and which ones I maybe would go on the hunt for. In the end, that resulted in 6 kits that I would like to go on the hunt for and find. That's quite a bit, but a small selection of what has actually been archived since. I can't really choose which one would be considered like my absolute top unicorn kit, so I'm just going to list all 6 of them. The first one is Moon by Chrysabug. That was kind of a Sailor Moon style diamond painting that I really, really, really fell in love with. So many times it was out of stock, and then it did a restock, and I just couldn't afford it, and then it was after that that it got, of course, archived, but it's one that I'm still very interested in. So I would definitely like to hunt that one down. Another one is Betsy Lynn by Michaelina, and that one just has like a very rockabilly, kind of retro, very brightly colored vibe to it, and that was one of her few kits that I fell in love with, and so I definitely still want to try to hunt that one down. Another one that had come out and they didn't really, I think they just did the one release of it, if I remember correctly. But it was one that I had wanted, and I had it on my wish list because I couldn't afford it at the time, but then I never ended up restocking it. Was Trick or Treat by Ann Stokes. And that one is a dragon kind of curled up on top of a pumpkin. And I loved that one. So that's another one that I'm hoping maybe someday I can find, get a hold of. Another one is Dragon's Mask by Sarah Richter. Love, love, love her art. I held off on that one. I mean, it had been in stock, but I held off on it just because I could never afford it, and there were a couple of other kits that kind of came up that I wanted just a little bit more. But I still really want to try to hunt that one down. And then another one, which I actually thought would have stuck around longer. The last 2, actually, I thought would have stuck around longer. And they had even restocked. The one had restocked a couple of times, but I couldn't ever afford it when it on the restocks came, was Mushroom Dragon by Stanley Morrison. And that one is a really, really fun one. It's kind of a dragon on a mushroom, and it's got some fairly vivid colors. I wouldn't call them super bright, like I would some other canvases, but they're vivid, like they're brighter, but they're not like rainbow bright kind of bright. But that's another one that I would really like. And then the other one, which I think only restocked like once or twice, so I thought it would have stuck around a little bit longer, is called Reflection by Yazoo Art Studio. And that one is a fairy looking into like either a river or a lake or something like that, some sort of body of water anyways. And you can see her reflection in it. And that one was quite gorgeous, and that is another one that I still really would like to try to hunt down. yeah, so those are kind of my 6 that are on my unicorn kit. And I say that, unicorn kit. Because there's obviously more than one. Some people might not necessarily even consider those unicorns. Some people have a slightly different definition for unicorn kits. They sometimes have it as the more hard to find ones. I don't know necessarily how hard these ones are going to be to find, but I'm calling them unicorns because they're discontinued. Therefore, they are harder already to find. All right, so the next the next number is number 13, which is which kit are you most looking forward to working on? This one was a harder one to answer because, let's be honest, I want to work on them all. I want to work on them all. And I want to work on them all next. So it's really hard to choose just one. So I really kind of went back and forth on this. So this one that I chose is Magic Potions, or Magic Potion, which is the large Diamond Art Club one. And it's got books and fairies, and it's a very warm color palette with kind of the yellows and oranges and oranges. It's got a little bit of purple and pink in there. It's just absolutely stunning, but it is a large canvas. Like it's skinnier this way, but it's longer this way. But that one I am really looking forward to working on next. Not necessarily next, but working on. I know it's probably going to take me a while because of the size of it, but I just loved it. It was one that I had spoiled myself with. It was probably the most expensive canvas to date that I've paid for. That's why it took me so long to even get it, was because of the cost. But I really wanted it, and so I think I'd use some of either my birthday discount or some points to kind of make it a little bit more affordable. The number 14 is, do you prefer confetti, color blocking, or a mix? And once again, if you're newer to diamond painting, you might have heard of the terms, but don't necessarily get what they mean. When someone talks about confetti, that just refers to a section of the diamond painting that has some really quick color changes. You're only placing like 1 or 2 drills at a time in an area, and then it's switching to another color. So that's what they call confetti. So that changes up really quickly. There's not very many of a color in a section, or there's so many colors in a section that it's changing super quick, and so you're not placing a ton of drills of that color down at a time. You're switching between colors more frequently. That's considered confetti. And then color blocking is the complete opposite of that. That's usually a lot of times a background for diamond painting will be considered color blocking, because you're just blocking out the same color, and there is a lot of it. And that is really great for multi-placing. And so you're usually using like a larger tip like this versus using a tip like that to get as much coverage as quickly as you can. Some people still single place it. That's fine. Some people just like that, the process of it. But color blocking is great for multi-placing, and like I said, that's just a big chunk of color, and you're knocking it out as quickly as you can. As for my preference, I honestly, depending on the art image that I'm working on, I would say that I like a mix. It's really nice to be able to multi-place and kind of knock out a good chunk of the section, but I also understand a role for the confetti, and that's the details. If it is a very detailed image, I want that confetti in there to show the depth of that image, to show the highlights, to kind of show the darker areas, to be able to tell that, you know, this is a rose and this is the leaf, or this is, you know, another scenario like a tree trunk to the branches, to the leaves, or, you know, I want to be able to tell that that's the background and then that's the animal, right? Like, so having that confetti and the little amounts of details to show off their characteristics, like their eyes or any makeup that a character has, the hair. Having confetti in the hair makes it, instead of just being like one blobby color, it gives the hair depth. So I tend to like a mix. But once again, that depends on the image, because some images can be a little bit more cartoony, and color blocking is more fine for that. That works. It still works okay. So yeah, with that being said, I will still go say a mix, because also too, I find doing a lot of confetti can get tedious at times, and then color blocking can also get very kind of boring at times. So it's nice to have a mix too, because then you can kind of bounce between working on the confetti, and then when you're kind of like, okay, this is getting to be too much, you can knock out a color and then feel like you're getting progress on the canvas. Because confetti sometimes takes just a little bit longer to work on and get through sometimes. What else? Okay, what question am I on? I've lost track of my paper. Okay, number 15. How do you pick out a new project? So for me, I've picked out new projects multiple ways. A lot of it depends on the current project that I just finished. So if I've worked on a project that has a lot of color blocking, I might look at a project that has a better mix of color blocking and confetti, or I might go more confetti heavy. If I've worked on a lot of round projects lately, I might switch over to working on a square project. If I've worked on a very dark kind of themed, dark colored themed diamond painting, then I might go and work on a brighter or more vivid colors scheme painting. If I've worked on diamond painting that has a lot of browns or a lot of blues or something like that, then I'll look for a diamond painting that's, once again, kind of the opposite of that. So a lot of that is kind of what I do to determine what my next project will be. Also, sometimes if I am working on a diamond painting for an event, then that obviously will determine the theme of the diamond painting. So like if it's a Halloween themed or fall themed diamond painting event, obviously I'm going to look for a canvas that fits that theme. So sometimes I choose a project that way. The odd time I have no flipping clue, and I'm just squirreling because I want to work on them all, and it's a little bit harder to narrow down what I want to work on. I've gone as far as to put the names in a random wheel and spin it and see what it's landed on. I've chosen a project that way when I'm so squirrely and I just don't know what to work on. And then sometimes if I've worked on a bigger canvas, I want to work on a smaller canvas. If I've worked on a lot of regular drill canvases that don't have any special drills, then I might go to something that has more special drills, or I'll sometimes even go to an off-canvas project to kind of switch things up. So having that variety is definitely nice. And of course my stash reflects that kind of a variety too, so it allows me to kind of switch up my projects based off kind of those little determining factors. Let's see here. Number 16, what is your favorite season or holiday to diamond paint for? For me, I would probably have to say Halloween. And that's because, once again, you kind of get a lot of those fantasy type creatures. You get your ghosts, your goblins, your vampires, your stuff like that. You get nice warm colors. You get fall images in that, which are just a lot of times very cozy feeling. You get the pumpkins in there. You get the haunted houses. You get some like really cool kind of themes. So I would say that's probably my favorite holiday season to work on for diamond paintings. Number 17, how many WIPs do you have on the go? And once again, if you are newer to diamond painting, WIPs just stands for work in progress. So that's usually just how many canvases or diamond painting projects have you started, not completed, have kitted up and kind of been working on and are working on, bouncing between. Maybe one day you work on this project, next day you work on that one, that kind of thing. So that's all WIPs, work in progress, stands for. I only have 2 currently. The one that I'm working on right now here in front of you, and then the one that I work on when I'm doing my Ghostly Echo series. And that one is more of your Halloween themed diamond painting. The one I've been working on for my Ghostly Echo series is the Explicit Zombie by Dottie Gleason, which is a Diamond Art Club canvas. But yeah, so those are my 2 work in progresses that I have on the go currently. Then number 18, do you prefer neutral, dark, or colorful artwork? This one is a little bit harder for me to answer because a lot of fantasy-based stuff can be dark art, and therefore there's dark colors. A couple of Christopher Lavelles even have neutral colors in them. And then I work on very colorful art. So for me, I don't think I really have a preference because I work on all of them. And I enjoy working on all of them. I enjoy art themes and images that encompass all those different, like dark colors, neutral colors, colorful colors. For me, it's probably more just if I've worked on one type for so long, I like to be able to switch it up. So if I've worked on a lot of dark canvases, I'll work on a neutral or a colorful. So that's more my preference, I guess, is just having the ability to switch up the color scheme that I'm working on more so than preferring a color scheme, if that makes sense. So then that brings me to question 19. Small, big, or snack-sized canvases. Once again, it's just asking what the preference is. I'm probably going to say big would be my preference, and that's just because of the amount of details and the artwork that you can get in the big diamond paintings. And the nice thing about a big diamond painting is it's something that you can work on. You can see it come to life. It takes a while to work on. It gives you plenty of hours or time to work on it. And I like that. I like having that type of a big project. So my preference would probably be big, but I do like to keep small and snack-sized canvases in my stash, because after a while working on so many big ones, sometimes it's nice just to take that break, knock out a small little canvas or a snack size canvas, see that progress, get it done, and know you've completed a project. So I still like having small and snack size canvases on hand just for that, but my preference is probably big. Number 20, which do you like best, pen or tweezers? 100% pens. Pens. I have tried tweezers with kind of your AB drills, specialty drills, even regular drills occasionally, but for me, that is a preference just because my hand and wrist, I have carpal tunnel, so that grasp to pinch tweezers constantly ends up making my hands go numb and sore, and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant, so that is why I say 100% pens, because it allows me to diamond paint longer. It's more comfortable for me, it's easier on me, so definitely pens. And the thicker the pen, better. I tend to like a chubby pen. So when I work with too small of a pen, like even sometimes when I work with this Enabler's Outpost one, well, I love it because it is probably one of my thinner pens. I can't work with it as long as I can some of my thicker ones like this one, or even my Bistro's pens, which are thicker. This pen, which is a little bit thicker, so definitely pens. Okay, and then number 21 is squares or rounds. Once again, that's a preference, and that just means the drill shape. So, like this one I'm working on is a round drill canvas. They're asking, once again, preference. I don't really have a preference between round and square. I have both in my stash, once again, because I like the variety, and for me it's more about the artwork than the drill shape. So if I love the art and it comes in round, great. What I will say, though, is if there is a lot of detail in a diamond painting, I prefer squares. Like if I had some shops, you have an option to buy round or square drills in whatever image. If that image has a lot of detail, my preference is to buy it in the square at that point. And that's just because squares give you the details better. It gives those crisp, clean lines and make those details just kind of pop and stand out versus if it were a round. So that's more where my preferences come in with the round square canvases, but I enjoy working on both. Number 22 is what's the best method for me to place ABs. Honestly, I don't necessarily have a best method per se. I place my ABs using my pens. I don't find much of a difference between wax or a putty or anything like that. I will say it is best to place them when that wax or putty is what's called dirty. And that just means you've already used that wax or putty to place multiple drills before you place the ABs. And I just find that's best because it's not as sticky, and so it's not gripping that iridescent coating that the ABs have. And for anybody who's wondering what ABs is, that just stands for Aurora Borealis, and that's a drill that has that iridescent coating, which there are some in this diamond painting. You can kind of see them. They're a little bit extra sparklier, a little bit shinier. But yeah, it just prevents it grabbing that coating and possibly ripping it off. So a dirtier one, it also allows you to place it easier. So using what they call dirty wax, that's probably the best method I find. Another option that I have tried that works quite well, especially if the putty's getting a little bit kind of sticky because it's too warm or something, just having a damp paper towel or cloth that I could just kind of take the tip of the pen and kind of dab it on, and that just kind of helps harden up the putty a bit. Then you can kind of place the drills without it sticking and all of that. And the other great option is using a wax tipped pen. I will roll over and grab one as an example. So using one of these where it's like the wax tip, you can get the pencils that you can sharpen that are wax like this on the inside. Those are also really great for placing ABs. Things like pretty placers, kind of that type of wax too. Great for ABs. 23, how do you section your diamond paintings? Lately, you're seeing it right here, release papers. Especially if they're a larger canvas now, and that's because I will section off 2 or 3 rows, and then I'll leave the rest with the clear plastic barrier on top. That works really well for me. So that's mainly how I've been sectioning my canvases now. I will still occasionally do the washi tape method, where I'm going on top of the clear coating and sectioning it off and using a craft knife to kind of cut into my sections. I will still occasionally do that, but in a larger diamond painting, you use up so much washi tape for that method that I just find release papers are a little bit easier to manage. Although I still like seeing my canvas, so that's also why I only do like 2 or 3 rows, so I can still kind of enjoy a little bit of worked on canvas, unworked on canvas, see some pretty release papers in between kind of thing. Yeah, so that's probably the way that I like to do my sectioning now. I didn't always do it that way, but lately, that's been my jam. I apologize, you don't get to see me diamond paint during this one question. Today has kind of been a bit of a, let's say, crapshoot is the polite way of putting it, between Ace and his whining and wanting out and trying to get this tag question thing done, because I of course wanted to get it filmed and out for this week. I probably should have just waited till I had some better time to work on it, but that's okay. Apparently my camera died, I didn't notice, and I totally missed question number 24. I didn't catch any of it on camera. Yeah, so question 24, what other hobbies do I enjoy? I would have to say I enjoy a lot of the crafty things, a lot. So within the crafty things, I work in all sorts of mediums. I do adult coloring, so within that I use alcohol markers, pencil crayons. I've even used acrylic paint here and there, and I've played around with some kind of a little bit more unusual mediums when it comes to adult coloring as well. But I do acrylic painting on canvases and wooden objects, and ceramic type objects as well. And I've got a couple of other mediums there. I've got some gouache that I've been meaning to try out. I've got some really like old kind of pan style watercolors that I sometimes will pull out and kind of play around with. So I definitely enjoy stuff like that, playing around with the different mediums on different surfaces. I also enjoy just doing general crafts. So just kind of creating things and making something kind of unique and creative. I'll do scrapbooking and card making, ATC cards as well, which are just an artist trading card in a kind of scrapbook style. I do paint by numbers. Reading, I love to read. Huge avid reader. I've recently got an e-reader, so I'm even getting into ebooks now, which I've never really done. I've always done the paperback or the hardcover. Still absolutely prefer those, definitely. There's just something about the physical book, the feel of it in your hands, the smell of it, all that good stuff. So reading is definitely another hobby of mine. I will occasionally bake or garden, but lately I just haven't had enough time to fit in all the hobbies, so those two have kind of gone to a little bit more of the wayside just because of the time it takes for those. And my hands are often full with the little guy and all that good stuff. So I don't get around to doing those ones as much. Cross-stitching. I've recently gotten back into cross-stitching. That's right. I've done that because of some of the PR packages I've got. I will play around with resin now. That's something that's new that I've just recently gotten into playing. Sculpting with clay is another thing that I like to do occasionally. All that wonderful stuff. So there's lots of great kind of crafty things that are my hobbies, and that's definitely probably where a good majority of them fall. Cosplay, I do occasionally do some cosplay stuff. PC gaming, of course. That's another thing that's not crafting related that I do. I'm both test PC games before they are released, when they're kind of in beta testing. That's lots of fun as well. The last one I recently tested was a train yard simulator one. Before that, there's been a few. I'm just trying to think because Chernobyl Liquidators was another one that I play tested. I've also done a hairdressing simulator one, a house flipper DLCs. Yeah, I've done lots of kind of fun stuff. It's usually with that company that I'm play testing with for the most part. I've done some kind of small ones where you sign up on Steam and sometimes you'll get sent the approval that way, and then play test a couple of other company stuff that way. They're not as kind of structured as working with the developers through Discord and kind of streaming to their platforms that they can record it and kind of really see gameplay, as well as us telling issues and giving them feedback on what we're playing. So PC gaming, definitely. Just playing games too on the computer, that's kind of a hobby of mine, playing all sorts of different games. I think that's kind of really about it for my other hobbies. So I, of course, will, at the end of all of this, attach who I've tagged. I will also, down in the description, make sure that I have all the questions saved and pinned there for whoever gets tagged. They can pull it. If you are interested in answering any of these questions, feel free, just tag me, let me know. It could be kind of fun to find out as well. Good stuff. If you're another content creator and I didn't tag you, feel free to tag me back and let me know that you've answered them, and I'll definitely check it out. That could be lots of fun as well. Maybe even find somebody new that I'm not watching, which is always great. I will leave this here, like I said, and I will attach all the people that I've tagged and my little goodbye message. And then, of course, last but not least, is tag some others to answer these questions. I'm just randomly selecting other content creators that I kind of know, I've gotten to kind of starting to get to know, and also curious to kind of know what they would say. So I really hope the ones that I do tag do have the time to kind of work on this type of a video to answer these questions. But I'm going to tag Diana Loves Colors. I'm also going to tag Pencil Surprises, Crafty Chef Diamond, and Diane's Diamond Painting Journey. And I cannot wait to see your ladies' videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tag question type video. You'll still get your WIP Chat on Friday, which will be catching you up, tell you all about Ace, all that wonderful stuff. That'll be included in that. So I will see everybody then. Have a great day. Bye.